There's an ongoing debate on whether college athletes should be paid for their commitment. Some realize that there are many different variables that go into play when it comes to paying all college students for their commitments. Not every sport brings in the same amount of revenue as the others, so how will they pay everyone? And others feel as though that college sports are just college sports and students should not be paid if they receive scholarships. But what about the D2 and D3 athletes who receive no college scholarships? Here we speak to a Kane student, a student athlete, and a member of the coaching staff about this topic. Zoe Stravusky is a Kane University student, writer for the Tower and the Cougars Bite, and a member of the women's volleyball team.
I don't think that student athletes should get a salary. I do think that they should get scholarships. And I think that the scholarships should be parallel to the amount of work they do for the school. So when you look at Division I schools, basically their whole life there is the sport that they play, and I think that when they get their full tuition scholarships, that's earned. Then when you go down to Division II and Division III sports, there's a little bit less commitment on a day-to-day basis with them. So I think while Division II and Division III athletes should receive scholarships, they shouldn't be as big as Division I scholarships. Overall, I do think that all student athletes should receive some kind of financial compensation via scholarships from the university.
D1 colleges and universities like Texas A&M can receive over $150 million a year just from sports revenue. D2 and D3 schools can receive less than $20 million a year. D1 schools are allowed to provide their students with full college scholarships, whereas D2 and D3 schools are prohibited. Donald Perkins is the Kane University women's volleyball team coach and has been for the past 10 years.
I think a scholarship is entirely appropriate. I know when I worked in Division I, there's a lot of time and commitment, but the scholarship, the equipment, the training, the healthcare, the food is more than enough. I know some people want money on top of that, and the thing I have with that is that they're looking at money for the football player or the basketball player, and really the colleges treat, or should be treating, all the athletes roughly the same. So, crew or equestrian or, soccer are just as important and should be treated just the same as football. And those athletes don't make $1 million for their school. And so I think the scholarship should be sufficient, and hopefully that's the way it stays.
A study done by Business Insider found that the top grossing sports for colleges and universities is football, men's basketball, and men's ice hockey. The lowest grossing sports for colleges and universities was women's volleyball, women's soccer, women's lacrosse, and women's softball. Danielle Thomas is a Kane University senior, graphic designer at the Cougars Bite, and president of the Kane Gospel Choir. She believes that D1 athletes especially should not receive compensation because of the numerous scholarships that they can be rewarded.
I don't necessarily think that it's fair. Reason being is that a lot of the athletes, they can acquire scholarships to come to school and certain grants, which kind of offsets the pricing of school and tuition. So that is already some form of a payment. So to get that plus additional payment on top of that seems a little unfair, and they're already getting a few benefits. It just doesn't seem balanced.
The debate will still go on. However, officials at the NCAA do not see a change to these standards happening anytime soon.